Hi, I'm Kerry Gardner, mummy to 2 daughters, wife, 2 dogs and a rabbit.
So I'm Dr. Callum Gardner, I'm married to Kerry and we have 2 daughters, Isla and Yasmin.
Life in my family before we entered into the world of play therapy was quite stressful. Daily meltdowns, daily arguments, lots of sibling arguments and probably heated discussions between my husband and I about the best way to deal with what we were being faced with.
Seeing your child so upset and angry at very, very small triggers made us feel that we were failing as parents because we didn't know how to deal with her. No matter what we tried to do to help her, didn't seem to help.
We were faced with daily struggles as a family unit, with Isla quite often refusing to get dressed to go to school, not wanting to take part in any family activities, becoming quite withdrawn and angry most days.
We were kind of learning as we went along, and we didn't know whether Isla's behaviour and her reaction to simple stresses in life was a natural reaction or whether it was, was this something that every parent goes through? But it became abundantly apparent that actually her reaction to some of the things that happened in day-to-day life were just out of proportion and she needed Amanda's input.
I managed to get in touch with Amanda through a colleague at work after her daughter had some help with Amanda. A simple phone call and then meeting up a week later resulted in probably a sigh of relief that we actually thought somebody could help us as a family and help our daughter who we felt was struggling at the time.
I think as medical people and as those who have a lot of experience with children and friends who have children, I think you always think you can deal with it yourself. And I think it got to the point where no matter what we did, no matter what we tried, we felt unable to manage the situation.
After working with Amanda, I think as parents we changed our approach. Isla's big concern was that nobody listened to her. We were maybe a bit dismissive. So what's dismissive in our world really is such a big deal in a child's world.
And Amanda was the first person that points out that it might not seem important to you as an adult, but to a child, those are very real anxieties and don't dismiss them.
Amanda's ability to make us see things from a different point of view has massively helped us deal with Isla, and Isla effectively now feels far more valued within the family unit.
And you can see over time how Isla has she almost does it with a smile on her face now because she realises, do you know what, Daddy, you finally get it. And you can actually have a conversation with me, as a friend as well as a parent, and I think that's really, really helped.
Amanda's approach to play therapy is quite visual, which I think is why it works so well with children of this age particularly. So she uses something called the backpack metaphor, which is the backpack is full of all the anxieties, the worries, the stresses that the child has, and Amanda starts to unpack that backpack to allow the child more room to deal with what's going on.
But I also think of it a bit as of a family picnic. So she can bring the backpack along the family picnic and she can share out her stresses and her anxieties and allow us to help share and deal with them together as a family unit.
Isla still uses similar analogies today in her life. She has her journal that if she's going to get angry, she goes and works in. And by writing that down, she's freeing up space in her head, which in her world is her backpack.
And I remember that first time she came down the stairs, she had a smile on her face, and I asked her, how did you get on? And she started to tell me how Amanda had given her this box and how every week she was going to come and she was going to be able to decorate that box. And this box became very symbolic to Isla. If something's upsetting her, she'll go off to a room, she'll write something down on a piece of paper and she'll put it in her box. And I remember one time, it must have been about 2 months after we finished play therapy, and her behaviour in general had been much, much better. And she ran upstairs and then she came down with this box and she said, Daddy, I'd like you to read this. And within it were some stress and anxieties, but also some wonderful reflections on Amanda, but also on how we as parents had finally, in her words, got it.
Amanda's knowledge around play therapy is second to none, but it's not just about interacting with that child. I feel her whole knowledge and the way she explains it to the child, to the siblings and to the parents makes this a success for all, really.
I think finally I'd just like to say thank you to Amanda for not only giving us our wonderful daughter back, because there was a period of time where we felt we were just losing control of her, and she was losing control of her own ability to deal with life and stress and anxieties. But I think Amanda has also helped us as a family unit look at things differently and approach things together and deal with things together. And I'd just like to say thank you.
I feel that I've managed to relate to my children a lot more. I feel I'm far more measured, and as a result of that, I just want to say thank you for giving us our family unit back.